Thank you for joining us on our Transportation and Logistics webinar, where we'll demonstrate how to drive new cost and time savings with document management and workflow automation. And my name's Neil, and I'm joined by my colleague Damien, who will be delivering a DocuWare demo focusing on the accounts payable and accounts receivable process shortly. If you have any feedback or questions, there will be a slide at the end with our contact details. So quite often when we work with businesses, there are often three key areas that can cause problems or hold a business back. Relying on physical documents, manual processes which are time consuming, and finding information quickly. All of these have a knock-on effect to the core business operations and can be significantly improved with document management. These are some of the biggest drivers we see when talking to our customers and prospects when implementing a document management solution. And one of the biggest drivers we see is time. Time to process a document like an invoice or capturing proof of delivery notes, and time spent administering this process. The electronic workflow and email notifications help to keep the document moving through the approval process and reduce the time spent by users manually administrating this. And customers have experienced improved relationships with their suppliers and less complaints because documents are not lost or misfiled, and users can find documents easily and quickly and answer queries. Reducing paper is a key strategy for most businesses these days. And with DocuWare, you will be able to save all of your documents electronically from point of creation or once they come back into the business, eliminating the cost and space required to store physical documents. And using the tools in DocuWare, managers can see where every document is, whether it's overdue or been stuck at a particular stage for too long. And this will help you identify bottlenecks and avoid delays. And DocuWare can help the warehouse function and connect this to the finance team so that invoices can be issued as soon as goods have been delivered to customers, improving cash flow. And DocuWare allows you to integrate with your other business systems to reduce administration. For example, when creating delivery notes from your CRM, DocuWare can automatically capture, store, and print copies. This eliminates the need to manually file them. And the mobile integration means you can access these documents from your phone or tablet wherever you are. So now we're going to look at the software and how it works. We're focusing on two key processes where we feel you can gain some immediate benefits, that being accounts receivable and accounts payable. And at this point, I'll hand you over to Damien.
Great, thanks, Neil. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can see that.
Brilliant stuff. So with the demo today, we're going to start off with the accounts receivable process. And the first thing we're going to do is focus on general paper filing, capturing documents, storing them for future search and retrieval. Before we do that, I'll just give you a quick tour of the interface. Now, as you can see, DocuWare is a web application, so you don't need to install any software in order to use it. There are also mobile apps for iOS and Android, so you can use all the features directly from your phone or iPad. If we have a quick run through of the web browser, you can see the tabs along the top. We have document trays, and this is generally where you'll capture documents from email, scanners, network directories prior to indexing and storing them. We have the search tab, and we can choose the virtual filing cabinet we want to search through, and then we can use index values to find those documents. Lists are just saved searches, but they're a great way of kind of monitoring documents as they get stored and move through the business. You can see we're just looking for the delivery notes and PODs at the moment. Tasks are where you have to do something, so this might be approving or authorizing a document. Folders, this is just another way to browse the documents, and you can create different structures. So we can see we've got delivery notes by customer and delivery notes by status. Forms is a very powerful tool within DocuWare, but it's not something we're covering today. So if it's something you're interested in, then follow us and we'll publish another webinar, particularly on forms. So if you start off with capturing documents, and with our logistics customers, it tends to be delivery notes is a big issue with lots and lots of paper having to be filed every single day. So if I open up a folder, so this is going to be our capture folder, and we're going to pretend to get a stack of delivery notes, which we have here. There's just 5, but it doesn't matter if there's 5 or 500. Let me just move my phone. So you can see here, it's kind of grey scale. It's on its side, so maybe not ideal for storing them in DocuWare, but we've got all the information we need. We've got kind of company, we've got order number, customer number, order date, delivery date, that kind of thing. So what I've done is I've set up a profile, which is going to capture all this information automatically. I won't have to do a thing. So DocuWare is monitoring this folder, picks up the file. It's now going to process those documents, capture the index information, and store them. So while that process is happening in the background, in a few minutes or a few seconds, hopefully, we should be able to see a number pop up next to lists. Brilliant stuff. So we can see here, if we go to lists, we now have 5 proof delivery notes stored and indexed. And we can see all the index information is captured, the company name, the date of the document, customer ID. Basically, I've been looking at the document and said, I want you to pick up this information, and this information. But it's a great tool if you just want to focus on eliminating paper and capturing those documents and storing them, and then you can kind of destroy all the physical copies. Now, let's say for someone phones in and wants to check on whether a particular piece of equipment has been delivered. So you can do a quick search. We'll have a look at the delivery notes out, and we'll see which customer it is. Let's say it's this one. So we can quickly get to the document. We can say, yes, we can see the goods have been delivered to you. It was signed by such and such. And if you need a copy, we can email it to you. So very quickly, you can find that document and answer a question. You can also search by content. So DocuWare turns an image into searchable data. So we can have a look at the full text search. Let's say I want to look for the word Cobra. And if I click on this, we can see the word Cobra is highlighted. So within less than a second, it's managed to search all of my documents and find those documents which have that word in it. We can also have a look through folders. So if I just refresh this, we should have signed delivery notes by customer. But this folder structure is kind of like a virtual way of using index values to structure that information, just so it's easy to browse. So that's kind of storage and retrieval for eliminating paper. The next thing we're going to do is we're looking at the cash flow side. How can the business reduce the amount of time between delivering the goods to the customer and getting paid? And one of the things that I've done here is I've used workflow. So once the signed delivery notes have been received, it is then triggering a workflow to email the accounts team. So we can have a look here. Here's a proof delivery, and I've put Dear Accounts Receivable, POD has been received, and I've used some of the index values. Please go ahead and raise the invoice. And you can also attach a copy of the invoice if you want to. But it means that in real time, when someone scans in a signed proof of delivery, accounts receivable get immediately notified and they can raise the invoice for that customer. You'll probably notice also we have some tasks. So if I go to lists, we can see signed proof deliveries. If you wanted to use lists as more like a task list, we could kind of use something like a stamp. So I could say, this has been invoiced, but I'm going to do that with tasks. So let's say we've got a batch of delivery notes and we've invoiced them. If I select them all, confirm they've been invoiced, and they will then disappear from my lists. So we can see that there's no more there. But it's quite a nice way, almost like a checklist, to go through which signed PODs have been invoiced, and then maybe you can chase those up with the customer within 7 days or whatever your terms are. Now, the next thing I was going to do is a bit more of an integration with capturing delivery notes when they're created, storing them, and then receiving the signed delivery notes back in, matching them against the original delivery notes and kind of checking those off. So if I go back to my folder and we can have a look at the unsigned delivery notes. So we can have a look here, and we have, here's a batch of them. So DocuWare has a print driver, and if I just send these to the DocuWare print driver, again, kind of like the way we're capturing a file from the network directory. The print driver is a way to automate the capture of index information and kind of the splitting up of documents and then storing into DocuWare. So again, shortly we should see our lists increase with unsigned delivery notes. So let's just try refreshing that. That should appear in just a moment. Here we go. So here are our unsigned delivery notes starting to appear. So you could set this up with your CRM application, whatever's creating your delivery notes. If you sent them to the DocuWare print driver, it could store a copy, maybe print a second copy for the driver to take with them. And then when the driver gets the customer signature at the end, brings them back in and then stores them. So let's just refresh that. Here we go. So you can see all 5 delivery notes now. So let's say the driver has gone to the customer site, delivered those products, and now we can grab hold of the signed delivery notes, scan them back in. So let's say the driver comes in, puts his batch of delivery notes in the in tray, someone then goes off to the scanner, scans that batch in, and we're going to pick them up. Now we've got unsigned delivery notes and signed. So as the signed delivery notes come in, DocuWare is automatically going to check those off against the unsigned delivery notes. So once all of the signed delivery notes in, the unsigned delivery notes should disappear. So let's just have a quick look here, refresh that. So we have all our 5 signed proof of deliveries, and you can see all our unsigned delivery notes have disappeared. And again, those lists are just a great way of checking them off. If I still had some unsigned delivery notes, it would trigger an action for me to say, okay, so maybe the driver hasn't brought in their delivery note, maybe it's a missed delivery, maybe the equipment was damaged, but it means that you've got a checklist of things to kind of work on and monitor. Again, the capture of those signed delivery notes is automatically going to email accounts receivable so they can invoice the customer and hopefully get paid much quicker. And now we have all of our invoices in here. If we just say that's okay, we have invoiced all of those. And now all of our tasks are complete. There's no more signed delivery notes. I know that all of my actions are complete. So that's the accounts receivable side of things. The next thing I was going to do is maybe look at accounts payable. And I'm just going to look at a very simple invoice approval process. So a common situation is you might receive an invoice into your email account, and we can just go ahead and right click that invoice, store in DocuWare. And this is going to move it to the intelligent indexing document tray. So now I can show you how that works. If we go to my document trays, intelligent indexing, in just a moment we should see, I've just popped it into the line item capture. Let's move that into the intelligent indexing tray. So you can see the little grey bar on the top left-hand corner going up and down. This is the AI that is intelligent indexing, basically taking a document or an image and trying to turn that into readable data. The colors, so this is green because it's a test document I use, but it's a traffic light system to show the confidence that DocuWare has captured the index information correctly for you. So if I go ahead and store this, we can see here all of the index fields are already filled out for me, so it just makes my job really easy. And if I click on different values, we can see it highlighted on the document itself in the right-hand pane. Let's just make that a little bit bigger. Now, if this is a document I hadn't received before, or if you're in the process of teaching it, it's really easy to teach DocuWare. You don't have to set this up, it just kind of learns as you store. So if it hadn't captured order number, I can just click on that. It fills it out for me, no typing required, done. So with this invoice approval process, this is going to raise a task. So the first thing we might need to do is assign it to an authorizer. Now I'm going to assign this to myself. And DocuWare will email that person, let them know, hey, you've got a task that you need to approve this particular invoice. And it should appear in my task list shortly. What I can also do is if I go to my mobile, you can see it's now in my list of tasks in the web browser. And we can approve it, maybe assign a nominal code. If you want to look at one of our other webinars, we go through line item capture and GL coding each line item, which can be really useful. But for this, I'm just going to do a simple process. So if we go into my tasks on my mobile and we go to this invoice, and again, you can use all the normal functionality, pinch and zoom, that kind of thing. So let's say we're happy. If you wanted to match it to other documents, so if we have a look in the task section, we can have a look at related documents. So we can have a look at delivery notes, purchase orders, whatever you wanted. So I'm just going to have a look at delivery notes. We can see here it's been signed, it's been received. We're all happy. We've got the goods that we've ordered. So let's do the task on my phone, make a decision. Let's say approve that. Apply the nominal code. Place the stamp. If we zoom in, you can see I can move the stamp around if I wanted to. Click and confirm. And then that's complete. So you should see the task disappear from the left-hand side. Brilliant. Now, DocuWare can apply rules to different documents, and this particular invoice was quite an expensive one. So although I've approved it, I don't have the authority for that amount of invoice. So if we have a look at who it's assigned to, so if you go to monitor tasks, we can see who that particular task is assigned to, and it also helps avoid bottlenecks. So if I know the operations manager is on holiday, I could reassign it, or I could perform the action on her behalf. So I'm just going to approve this, click and confirm, and then the final stage will be to complete that process. It could be to pay it, release it for payment run, whatever that might be, but we should see this pop up in our list of tasks shortly. While that's doing so, we can have a look at the folders, and again, if we have a look at finance, so we can have a look at finance by company, and we can see the US Steel invoice, delivery note, purchase order. We'll just have a look at the invoice that we've just stored. We can see it's approved. In our list as well, we can have a look at approved invoices, invoices that are out for approval, invoices ready to be paid. Again, like I said, these are just saved searches, so you can create as many as you like. Go back to tasks, click and complete, click and confirm, and that ends the process. So that's everything I was going to show in the demo today. I will hand back to Neil.
So Damien has demonstrated how DocuWare can help drive real business improvements within the accounts receivable and payable functions. So DocuWare is trusted by some of the largest companies around the world, but it's also used by anyone from 5 employees upwards. And really, however you want to use it, it's up to you. So these are the 3 typical starting points for our customers. And this is kind of how we approach the process. So some of our customers use it as a basic digital archive. For example, one of our logistics customers only store all of their delivery notes, mainly because they had lots of paper and wanted to reduce this. Or if you want to achieve something more comprehensive, a digital archive with electronic workflow is a great way to remove the need for passing documents around the business for manual sign-off. And if you're looking to take full advantage of some of the other tools available, we can integrate with other systems to provide greater levels of automation. So that does conclude the webinar today. We do really appreciate your time staying with us on this session. If this webinar has raised some questions or uncovered something you would like to achieve within your business, please do get in touch with us using the details on the screen. Thanks very much.